Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Oxley and I will be presenting my artifact video today. I originally found the concept/inspiration for my artifact through a TikTok video that popped up on my For You page. The video was published by Brute on January 29th of this year following the soup attack on the Mona Lisa at the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. It was a video entailing various information people may not know about the Mona Lisa. It brought up one specific instance regarding disabilities and how the Mona Lisa contributed to change. The Mona Lisa was a turning point in art history. It shows the transition from having strict formalities of medieval art to a humanistic and individualistic approach. It is one of the most recognizable and reproduced paintings in history. Through pulp culture references to advertisements, parodies, and the theft of 1911, the painting has only grown its own cultural significance. That is the Mona Lisa. Its composition is made of the golden ratio. The golden ratio is the mathematical principle that allows for pleasing proportions in framing the figure. The model is sitting elegantly and effortlessly, which gives a sense of serenity and ethereal beauty to the painting. To others, the Mona Lisa might not be a sign of disability and accessibility, but it is to me. Through reading various articles, I have been able to find various connections between the two. The Mona Lisa hangs in a museum for a specific intended audience of viewers to look at it and take pictures of it primarily because it is so famous. People want to say that they have seen the infamous Mona Lisa while missing the bigger points. There are 35,000 pieces of art on display in the Louvre Museum, but people only wait in long lines and groups to get closer to one specific piece. I think this speaks on how society regards people with disabilities. There is so much stigma, stereotyping, and discrimination because of how narrow-minded we are on people because of their disabilities. Like the Mona Lisa, there is this perfect, elegant image that we have ingrained in our minds of how specific people should be based on their appearance. This results in looking down on people using disability-first language and wanting to hear only stories that contain inspiration porn. The Mona Lisa itself does not portray a disability via art form, but there are aspects of which disability and accessibility can be linked to the specific portrait. One of these instances can be seen in the April 1974 incident at the Tokyo National Museum. Days before the arrival of the Mona Lisa, discussions between disability activists and the museum had come to the forefront. The museum would not let anybody in to see the Mona Lisa if they are disabled in efforts to try to keep the crowds controlled. This angered a lot of people, but the only person to do something about it was Tomoko Yonezu. Tomoko Yonezu was a 25-year-old Japanese woman who attacked the Mona Lisa armed with red spray paint and a wheelchair. On the first day that the Mona Lisa was at the museum, Yonezu was able to wheel herself past the crowds and spray paint the glass containing the Mona Lisa in red spray paint. Yonezu was advocating for the Tokyo National Museum to be accessible to people with disabilities that were just like her. Yonezu objected to the museum's care and treatment of people with disabilities. She was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor and had to pay 3,000 yen for the fine. Through her actions and activism, Yonezu was able to make a difference. The Tokyo National Museum opened up a day where only people with disabilities could come and tour the museum and the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa, I believe, reinforces and challenges stereotypes, stigma, and marginalization. I believe this because the Mona Lisa represents someone who is made of the golden ratio proportions and is elegant and full of beauty and light, the opposite of what a lot of people in society would feel when looking at someone who has a disability. I think this specific instance reinforces the stereotype, stigma, and marginalization of people with disabilities and how we as a society think they are imperfect and ultimately need fixing. The Mona Lisa also challenges stereotype, stigma, and marginalization, as it also is a turning point from strict formalities to individualistic, humanistic trends. I think people with disabilities in today's society are more of that individualistic, humanistic trend where everyone can be who they are and there is not nearly the amount of judgment and discrimination as there was. Whereas back in the 19th century, when disability was something that you should be ashamed of and the only real way to deal with people was through institutions, is more of the strict formalities. Through this class, I feel as though my eyes have opened to the world of disabilities and how I can now see through a different lens than what I did when I didn't have this class. Without this class, I would not have taken a second glance at someone trying to destroy the Mona Lisa for activism such as disability rights. I just don't think I would have cared enough to learn more about it and put in my own effort to research it. I think seeing the Mona Lisa in this light has given me a different perspective of the artifact in general. I feel as though it's not worth as much of my time to wait in line and have to get a picture of the painting because it is so popular, when there are thousands of other pieces of art within the museum that contain just as much time and effort. I think knowing that everyone isn't perfect like it's always perceived is something that I took away from this painting regarding disabilities. There is no golden ratio in real life. Everyone is different, and having those individualistic tendencies is what makes us all see different cultures and aspects of others' lives. Seeing that people with disabilities are competent and can do the same things that I can do, just maybe a little differently, is something that I've learned from the artifact. People with disabilities can be seen as elegant and effortless as the Mona Lisa. Society needs to be not so narrow-minded when looking at specific issues regarding people or politics. I think that mindset has been passed down generations and is something that must I think that mindset has been passed down generations and is something that most don't want to willingly break because the bigger picture might encroach on the ideas that we support. The golden ratio, perfection, money, etc. are some of the ideas that the Mona Lisa reinforces by what society has done and continues to put their ideals into, whereas the Mona Lisa is challenging the institutionalization aspect because today's society is more accepting of people in general than it was when institutions were normalized for people with disabilities.